Hello. The purpose of this demonstration is to provide you with an overview of how to utilize Oracle Planning Budgeting Cloud Service to deliver a driver-based premium model in the insurance industry. What you see on the screen is Oracle PBCS. It is essentially Hyperion Planning now running on the Oracle Cloud. It's a rather intuitive interface designed for tablet or mobile access, but you can utilize it on your desktop, as well as utilizing the same capabilities within the spreadsheet interface in Microsoft Excel and its inherent connector to the application called SmartView. We'll see that a little bit later on in the demonstration. You can access your model or reporting artifacts via tasks, which is a step-by-step sequence and organized view of seeing your models. You can have embedded analytics within the system, or you can utilize the web forms within your data card. Let's take a look at how this premium model has been designed. Hyperion Planning on the Oracle Cloud promotes standardization and centralization, doing more with less, stated simply. You have the capability of taking all the logic and all the models that are available on your spreadsheet and putting them into a centralized application for data capture, for computation, and reporting. Whether you're an administrator, whether you're a power user, or a casual end user, you can work within the existing premium model to review or update rates, assumptions at the high level or at any level of detail. For example, let's take a look at our premium rates supporting this model. Our premium rates are essentially a number of statistical accounts, such as the persistency percent, renewal rate percent, year-to-date actual sales, fiscal year sales, and monthly base dollar input by year, by product, by segment. And notice here it's at no funding arrangement. The idea is to make the capture of these assumptions relatively easy for the end user. We can enter in our assumptions by product, and this requires us to have all of our products available in the system, as well as by segment. Of course, creatively, we can put our products on the rows or segments on the rows, and we can creatively arrange the web form to make the end user's data entry process extremely efficient. The idea behind these administrative inputs for premium rates is to capture these assumptions at a high level and push them down to a level of granularity, that being at the individual funding arrangement level. Other examples of assumption data capture in the form of tax rates. It follows a relatively simple methodology. Here's our single assumption for the fiscal year tax rate for each given year. And notice here it's at even higher level of granularity, at no funding arrangement, no segment, no product. So the assumptions data capture can be designed exactly the way your premium model requires it. And the business rules behind the scenes, after the assumptions have been entered, push these overarching assumptions right down to the premium model. Here's a web form that reflects our premium model. Notice here it's a little bit more detailed. We have those same assumptions and more captured at the beginning balance column. What beginning balance means is that these are assumptions that do not change month over month. Here are those same assumptions that we saw before. Again, they're available by product, by segment, but now they're at funding arrangement. So we have funding arrangement 1, funding arrangement 2, 3, and 4, etc. And we can filter against any one of these dimensions across the top to reuse this template for additional assumptions data capture, now at a lower level of granularity, as well as assumptions data capture that change over each month. Again, these are some of the assumptions that we saw before, such as year-to-date actual sales, actual cancellations, fiscal year sales input, and even some other assumptions that we haven't seen before that are only required at this lower level of detail, such as fiscal year in-force, UE rate, participation rate, commission input percentages, and even a seasonality index. We can modify the data at will at the beginning balance level, at the monthly level, in order to compute our output. Our output being our base dollars, cancellations, sales, all the way down to premium revenue. We can also make adjustments to these. Again, because this is Hyperion planning, we can enter our data in any cell or range of cells. And by adjustments, it actually provides us insight and traceability into what was the data that was computed and what were the manual adjustments that were made. So notice in the base dollars line item, we have 30 base dollars computed by the premium model. And then another user came into the system and entered in a +5, which yielded a 35 net adjusted base dollars. And in turn, along with the other line items that were computed by the model, we ended up with our total premium for that monthly figure. So as we input all of our high level and lower level assumptions in the system, we have an estimated 350 for the total year and total premium revenue that's being computed. Obviously, this is demo data. But at any moment in time, an end user can adjust the data or perhaps do some higher level target setting. For example, what if we wanted to make our total premium revenue to be 300 instead of 350? What will the underlying assumptions look like? All I have to do is essentially click on my actions button and launch a business rule design for that goal-seeking exercise. I know that this goal-seeking business rule is called Calc Target Revenue, and it's designed to calculate what the new target year-to-date revenue is going to be. So I'm going to enter in 300 instead of 350 for a given funding arrangement, product, segment, and year combination. I'll launch that business rule, and behind the scenes, the underlying base calculations as well as the assumptions are going to be recomputed based on this new target. Here's our total revenue of 300, and there are the new total premium revenue for each individual month. We can peruse through any one of the other web forms that we have available to us, whether they're input or review forms. For example, I can review my premium revenue by product. This is a review form because it's entirely in gray. I can use this for a straight review of my information, or perhaps I can use this in a subsequent dashboard that I'll show you a little bit later. I can look at my P&L input web form that shows me both output and input on the same screen. Notice here that here's my earned premium that was computed by the system. I can override this data if I choose to, or I can perhaps focus in on a line item that's outside my premium revenue model. As you can see, I have a wealth of line items that are available for me. Again, this demonstration is clearly supporting just premium revenue. But notice some of the other line items, such as net investment income, other income, claims paid was computed by my model, DAC capitalization, all the way down to operating earnings post-tax. I could focus in on a particular line item here. Notice here that PSR premium impact was already entered in by someone else. I can change the data at will at an upper level member. I can make that 300. I can make that change at a monthly level. And notice how my quarterly number changes automatically. I can also utilize some of the out-of-the-box adjustment capabilities to increase or decrease my data based on a percentage or amount. So I quickly change this by 25%. Here's the old number. There's the new number. I can apply that change to that cell, and automatically my Q2 data changed automatically. Upon saving the data back into my web form, it immediately goes back to Hyperion Planning's repository on the Oracle Cloud and is made available for any end user to review that data. Everything I can do to support my premium model, whether it's for assumptions data capture, premium model calculations, or straightforward inputs, can be done on the web, just like you're seeing here, or it can be done entirely on Excel. I already have an Excel spreadsheet available, and I'm utilizing the Hyperion connection into my application called SmartView. All I have to do is simply click on the appropriate connector known as EPM Cloud, expand my domain, expand my application, and here is my categorized view of all my planning application artifacts. These are all the web forms that are available to me. Notice that they're named exactly the same as what we just saw online. And again, I can open up the admin inputs for premium rates form. Here are those same assumptions that we saw earlier. I can open up my premium model. And I can open up my P&L input. Now, it's important to note this is not a download. This is actually just a re-rendering of that same template that we saw online, and now it's just available on Excel. The benefit to actually utilizing this web form on Excel is that we can easily link a non-Hyperion web form, just a straight detailed schedule, to this web form using normal spreadsheet capabilities. I can easily just utilize this web form now that it's available on my spreadsheet. I can modify my data, submit it back into my model. It'll automatically recompute my premium model, any additional calculations that are embedded within the system. I can also do ad hoc reporting, taking advantage of the template that's been designed in this web form. For example, I can just simply focus my attention on this one web form. Again, this is P&L input, and click on the Analyze icon in the upper left-hand corner of my planning ribbon, and take advantage of the point of view. Let me click on the Smart Panel so I can fully see my point of view. And we can focus our attention on some analytics. For example, I want to focus my attention on premium revenue, so I highlight that account and do Keep Only. I can drag and drop my products to my rows. I can drag and drop my segments to my rows, and I can drill up on both. I can pivot my account back into my point of view, and I can just drill down on my products and segments, and I can increase or decrease the level of detail at will, essentially making this a pivot table for not only reporting purposes, but in the form of ad hoc reporting or even ad hoc budgeting and planning as well. Other means of reporting in the system are available. For example, I have a couple of standardized financial reports designed, such as income statement by segment and premium trend by revenue. Each one of these standardized reports has the standard corporate watermark and look and feel with a level of interactivity. I can review my report via HTML, PDF, or I can download this back into Excel. Let's take a look at this first report in HTML format. You can embed your standard company logo, standard company title, any additional pieces of information that are dynamic. Notice here that it shows us our key accounts by segment and by product in the drop-down menu. I can view my data by just simply filtering in on a specific product, or I can change my funding arrangement to a different one. This is a live query against the database, even though it's a relatively fixed format and the report's designed for easy consumption. There's a level of interactivity that we can embed in the system. We can also add drill down capabilities if you so desire. Let's take a look at our other report, but in this facet, we'll look at it in a PDF format. We can interact with our data just like we saw before. I can change my time period to Q2. And our data gets re-rendered automatically. The last area of reporting I'd like to take you, and something that's become very popular in recent months, is dashboarding, or I'd like to say embedded analytics. Dashboarding is built into Oracle Planning Budgeting Cloud Service, so one does not require to export the data out of the system and send it to a third-party tool. Any end user, whether it's a casual end user or a power user, can review the information online and actually create dashboards by simply dragging and dropping, pointing and clicking without any having to rely on IT assistance or having to do any kind of scripting. These objects or these grids or charts basically take advantage of the existing web forms that are available in the system. So notice here's that same admin inputs for premium rates web form. We can open this up for data entry or just keep it locked down for review purposes. All of our components are interactive, so we can just change the filters on the fly. We can have any number of filters in the system or one set of global filters for consistency. Let's take a look at our other example. So flexible visualization and analytics is completely embedded in the system. How an end user goes about designing a brand new dashboard for personal, departmental, or divisional use is all point and click. I can simply just click on the Create button on the upper right-hand corner, give the dashboard a name, and just drag and drop a couple of the pre-existing web forms that are available to me. I wanted to use my premium rate web form just to show us what the assumptions are. And I also want to see premium revenue by segment, and I'll drop that alongside to the right of my assumptions. And by default, both show up as grids, but the component to the right, I want to render as a chart. So I'll quickly click on the gear, choose the chart type to be a bar chart. And I'm a big fan of 3D charts. And we'll just keep the default settings as is. We'll close them. And then we'll save our work. And now our brand new dashboard is available. Within seconds, within minutes, as long as your inventory of web forms are available in the system, especially those for review purposes, you can easily drag them, drop into a new dashboard, again, for departmental, personal, or division-wide use. This concludes our demonstration.